by officers to each member in the manner I will guide. And so, when your name is called, you will receive one ballot paper at the table and proceed to the voting booth. Mark your ballot paper and proceed to cast your vote. For clarity, honorable members, a member who wishes to vote shall mark his or her ballot paper by placing a visible mark in the box provided for beside the name of the preferred candidate as a member wishes to vote for. Thereafter, the member should fold the marked ballot paper before leaving the booth and deposit the folded ballot paper in the ballot box. A member who in the process of voting has marked his or her paper in error may, by returning it to the clerk, obtain another ballot paper in its place. The initial ballot paper marked in error shall be marked cancelled and destroyed by the clerk. Honorable members, when it appears to the clerk that all members who are present in the House and who wish to vote have voted and deposit their ballot papers in the ballot box, the clerk shall unlock the box, examine the ballot papers, and having rejected those unmarked or spoiled, report to the House the result of the ballot. May I also notify you, honorable members, that after the clerk has unlocked the ballot box, a member who has not already recorded his or her vote shall not be entitled to do so. The verification and counting of ballots shall take place in the presence of members appointed as agents or representatives by the candidates. For clarity, each candidate is allowed a maximum of one agent or representative for the purpose of the ballot. Honorable members, in line with the requirements of Standing Order 7.1, a person shall not be elected as Speaker unless supported by votes of 2/3 of all honorable members. The House is reminded that this 2/3 threshold is not a constitutional requirement, but a procedural step to ease the election of a Speaker on the first round of the ballot. The procedural threshold applies only to the first round of voting and does not affect the quorum required for the commencement and continuation of the sitting and the election. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 7.2, in the event that no candidate is supported by the votes of 2/3 of all members at the first round of voting, the candidate who receives the highest number of votes and the candidate who receives the next highest number of votes shall alone stand for election in the next round. The candidate who receives the highest number of votes in the second round shall stand elected Speaker. Honorable members, we have arranged the voting booths next to the dispatch table. There are two booths on each side of the table. Members on my right hand side will cast their ballots in the voting booth placed on the side of their side at the table, and vice versa for the members on my left. Honorable members, before the House proceeds to vote, I wish to remind the House that this particular voting is by secret ballot. Members are not allowed to display their marked ballots to the House or to the galleries. Members from the media are also reminded to observe Rule 3 of the broadcasting rules in the first schedule to the standing orders. And for the avoidance of doubt, the said rule provides as follows, and I quote, "Wide angle shots of the chamber shall be used during voting and division, and no shot shall be taken so as to show the manner in which a member has voted in any secret ballot." Having explained the voting procedure, I now wish to direct the Chief Sanjera Terms to open the ballot box and display it to the honorable members. Honorable members, you have witnessed for yourself that the ballot box is empty. And I now direct the Chief Sanjera Terms to close and lock the ballot box. The next step before we start to call out names for members to come and vote is to inquire of the House of any member designated by the candidates as their agent or representative, which is strictly one agent or representative per candidate. If any, I request them to step forward and approach the table so that we can proceed. Honorable members, who is for Honorable Marende? Okay. Okay. So the Honorable TJ Kajwang. And who is for the Honorable Wetangula? The Honorable Dr. Pukose. Okay. Now, honorable members,
we have legitimate issues and interventions to make. You said that after this you are going to call me. That is why I'm asking that you should have allowed us to make interventions.
honorable members,
Teach those people that will sit down. Sit down.
members, please be seated so that I can guide the House. Just be seated. Take your seats. Take your seats, honorable members. I want to guide the House. I will allow a few interventions from the members before we proceed to the ballot. And I will now allow the Honorable TJ Kajwang to yes. Yeah, I will give you. I will invite you. Just one question.
Thank you, Madam Returning Officer. And first of all, because this is the first time we are interacting with the table, we want to thank you for preparing elaborately this house to enable to accommodate all of us. I have a constitutional fundamental issue to raise, and members who have been here before and members who are joining us for the first time, this is a debating chamber, and we'll be here for 5 years. And so all the issues that need to be spoken, which the nation needs to know, should be spoken, because that is why we have come, and that is why we took off to present these issues. And so I raise a constitutional fundamental issue on the candidate on the table, which is number 4, Honorable Senator Moses WETANGULA, touching Madam Returning Officer. I am sure that when members will keep quiet and listen, they will be able to follow me and be able to respond. And all those issues can be responded to in a very civilized manner. Whether that candidate is legible as a candidate for Speaker. Madam Returning Officer, under the Constitution, Article 103, as read with Article 106, mandates that a person is qualified if that person is not a member of this house, and if he's a member of the other house, he has submitted his resignation to the Speaker. No, just give me time. You are an old man. You are an old man. No, don't say so. Use parliamentary words to me. Now, Madam Returning Officer, as much as I've been able to check out, the member who is number 4 is actually an elected senator of the other house. Now, if he is elected member of the other house, he ought to have presented this resignation to the Speaker. I have learned reliably that that person presented this resignation letter on 9th of August to the Speaker, allegedly to the Speaker of that house. Now, if you look at Article 10, when you look at allow me, order. A day after the elections. I'm explaining myself, please. Now, the Speaker to whom he allegedly delivered his resignation letter was already an elected governor. It means according to the Constitution, 103 says that the term expires on 102 at the date of the general election. The term of this house and the term of the other house expired on 8th, not on 9th. The term of the Speaker of that house expired at that time when that person was elected as governor. It means that on 9th, there was no Speaker to whom the candidate would have given his election papers. So the fact of the matter is that if you have an office without a substantive holder thereof, then that office is no office. So if, as I have reliably informed, that he tendered his resignation to an office without the substantive member being the substantive holder of that office being validly in that office, then he resigned to no Speaker. I ask you, Madam Returning Officer, because this is a he's a returning officer. By law, he's a returning officer. That is what he is. Yes? This is an issue which is not only important to us, but important to all those other candidates who have a valid, some of them who are not in this house, who have a valid responsibility to ask. The last one, and this may draw a lot of protestation from somebody who does not like my thinking, and in this house, we must not like each other's thinking. The same person that is the candidate, there is a valid resolution of this house. There is a valid resolution of this house, which in record, saying that that particular person is not eligible to hold a public office in Kenya. Madam Returning Officer, this is a house of records. This is a house of records. There is a resolution of this house, passed by this house, implementable by this house, that the person should not hold a public office arising out of matters concerning integrity. So in both those grounds, I ask you, Returning Officer, to find that one Moses WETANGULA is not eligible to be a candidate for the Speaker of this House. I thank you so much. Speaking in this house is very easy.
Honorable members, I will now allow the Honorable Ichung'wah to raise his point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Clerk. And let me just begin by thanking the Honorable TJ Kajwang for that point of order. Although unfortunately, Honorable Clerk, and I would really beg this 13th Parliament that we allow each other time to be heard, because the Honorable TJ Kajwang has a right to raise whatever issue he wants to raise, and we all have a right to respond, and eventually the presiding officer will probably make a determination. But allow me to just go straight to some of the issues that the Honorable TJ Kajwang has raised. And it is indeed true that one can only be elected a speaker if you are not a sitting member of parliament. That includes members of the Senate. But it is also not true what the Honorable TJ Kajwang alleges, that the Honorable Senator WETANGULA resigned on the 9th of August. It is indeed preposterous for the Honorable TJ Kajwang to make an allegation in this House that he cannot substantiate, by way probably of tabling a copy of that letter that he purports the Honorable Senator WETANGULA resigned on the 9th of August. It is also in my Honorable Clerk that the Honorable Moses WETANGULA indeed resigned 2 days after the gazettement of senators by IEBC in the Kenya Gazette. And those are facts. And I want to believe, Madam Clerk, that in your office you have a copy of that letter, which the Honorable TJ Kajwang does not have. What is purporting here can only be equated to what they said was opaque. Honorable Speaker, it is also not true that indeed when the Constitution that the Honorable TJ Kajwang is quoting says that the term of the Parliament of the 12th Parliament ended on the 8th of August. It is true for the Honorable TJ Kajwang and myself and the Honorable Senator WETANGULA, who was a senator in the 12th Parliament. But the office of the Speaker exists in perpetuity, and until another Speaker. Today, as we speak, Madam Clerk, Speaker J.B. Muturi is still the Speaker of the National Assembly until a new Speaker is elected this afternoon. Honorable Speaker, what the Honorable TJ Kajwang, and he knows because he's a seasoned lawyer, he knows what he's telling the country on live television as a lawyer is not true, because the Speaker's office exists into perpetuity, and it will until and unless we elect a new Speaker. Speaker J.B. Muturi remains in office. In fact, as we speak, TJ Kajwang, you know Speaker Muturi is seated in his office in transacting business. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, let me not even belabor that point. Honorable Speaker, I just want to beseech that we do not spend a lot of time arguing things that could be described as rumors, hot air, things that are opaque. And Honorable Speaker, I would beg that you, Honorable Clerk, I would beg that you stick to the rules and procedures of this House and occasion the election of a new Speaker to progress without wasting much time. We saw these shenanigans in Bomas of Kenya. The same people who were in Bomas, some of them are here, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Chair, and I really want to beg that you do direct that we proceed. Thank you, Honorable Clerk.
Honorable members, I will allow 2 more members. I will allow the Honorable Wandai. Yes, it's a different issue. Not about election of Speaker. Okay, then I will allow the Honorable Duale, please.
Honorable Madam Acting Clerk and the Returning Officer. Madam Acting Clerk, and I think I want first to ask the House that it's great to welcome the new members and everybody here in the 13th Parliament. Honorable TJ, and I really want us to listen to each other, and then at the end of the day, we will vote. Honorable TJ raised 2 issues, and Honorable Ichungwa answered 1. Honorable Madam Acting Clerk, I want to refer you to Article 74 of the Constitution. And it says, before assuming a state office, or acting in a state office, or performing any function of a state office, a person shall take and subscribe the oath of or affirmation of office in a manner and form prescribed by the 3rd schedule under an Act of Parliament. Madam Acting Clerk and the presiding officer for this afternoon, until this morning, before I took an oath as a member for Garissa Township, I was not a state officer. And in that consequence, the Honorable Moses WETANGULA ceased to be the senator for Bungoma on the 9th of August 2022. From the 9th of August to this afternoon, the Honorable Moses Masika, before he submitted his resignation, is a senator-elect. Is a senator-elect, and so is not a state officer. And in that consequences, Madam Acting Clerk, in fact, my submission to you is that based on Article 74 of the Constitution, and that you become a state officer on the basis when you take an oath or an affirmation, Honorable Moses WETANGULA, Senator-elect, was not under any legal or constitutional obligation even to resign. Resign from what? Resign from what? Because he is not a state officer. 2, Madam Speaker, and that is based on Article 74 of this Constitution. 2, Madam Speaker,